Hi, Dr. Marc. Thank you for joining today. I'm Rabia. I'm a public interviewer from ideaXme, an environmental engineering senior at University of Engineering and Technology, Lahore. I have remained a part of a number of on and off campus societies and also presented Pakistan and United States as a cultural ambassador. So, Dr. Marc, who are you?
I'm an environmental engineering professor at Virginia Tech, and that has taken me all around the United States and around the world to help find and fix problems with environmental injustices and water infrastructure and public health.
So, Dr. Marc, with whom have you connected? Who has altered the course of your life? What impact did this have on you and on the world? Can you think of an instance where you have influenced someone else in a significant manner? What impact did it have on them and on the world?
I have collaborated with some of the most outstanding scientists in the world, and they were citizen scientists. They were moms and dads who were worried about the health of their children, who did research, who educated themselves, and who helped expose environmental crimes and advance scientific knowledge. And I've also met many scientists who behaved unethically, behaved unscientifically, and woke up and found out that they had created crimes and harmed cities. And so it's been a fascinating journey just seeing how difficult it is in today's world to seek and speak the truth. And I think ultimately that's what we need more of is more scientists, something that you cultivate within, something that makes you want to seek and speak the truth when there's no rewards for that.
You pursued a bachelor in biophysics, and how did you choose environmental engineering as your professional career? What sparked your interest into the field, and how did it all start?
I think I became an environmental engineer because I failed at everything else I tried. When I say I failed, I did well in terms of the schoolwork, but trying to find a career that was suitable for me was difficult. I wanted to be a dolphin trainer until I figured out dolphins didn't like me. I wanted to be a medical doctor until I realized that the profession in that era was really somewhat unethical in how it trained people. And so I heard about Love Canal, which was an amazing citizen science project in Buffalo, New York. It really started the environmental movement. It started Superfund, and I was told environmental engineers would be fixing that problem. And I kind of thought I could help more people from a career in engineering than I could from a career in medicine. And so made a decision that should have turned out badly. I went to environmental engineering graduate school without having ever had a single class in engineering, but it turned out okay. I've had a good career, no regrets. And I think that's something to keep in mind when you're a young person, that you're never really sure exactly what you want to do. It's something that you'll be seeking for your whole life, probably, if you have high aspirations and expectations for yourself.
That's true. DC and Flint water crisis are the two most prominent water crises that caught public attention because of the severity of the issue. After or before these particular crises, did you encounter any crisis that impacted public health?
As my first job as a civil engineer, I worked on a problem with blue water in California. And unfortunately, it was the position of the lawyers who worked for the water utility that it was not our problem to fix. It was caused by our corrosive water reacting with the consumer's copper pipes, but they took this legal position that I believe in retrospect was unethical. And ultimately, they lost about $30 million and lost a major lawsuit. I think my first lesson was if you ever want to be sued and deserve it, let a lawyer tell you how to do your job. But I left there resolved to do better if I should encounter such unscientific and, in my opinion, undesirable behavior in the future. And that's kind of what prepared me for exposing government scientific misconduct in Washington, DC and Flint,
You
Michigan.
teach a subject on ethics and heroism, while in most of the engineering world, especially in the developing country like Pakistan, we do not focus on such things. What is your message to the world regarding ethics and heroism in the field of environmental engineering and how we can save the planet?
My message is be very careful of what you learn in your education. Your education can teach you wonderful things, but it also trains you to be a coward, a moral coward. It teaches you how to conform and sometimes how to look the other way and be willfully blind when you're not the good guy. You're part of a team that's the bad guys. And so I think this is something that we have to be very, very careful of. And I often tell students it's the people the world can't change who will change the world. And I think that's important. Again, keep in mind, be very careful what the world teaches you. You could wake up someday and find yourself doing something that you would once have abhorred. That is the default condition. And it takes a very strong person to remain true to their dreams and aspirations.
Dr. Mark, while making rules for environmental parameters, every country has their own standards, just like copper and lead rule and many other parameters, based on political and economic reasons. What do you think about that? All the countries should have stringent environmental standards or same no matter what?
Well, I think we've made great progress worldwide in terms of improving and protecting the environment and public health. And I think one of the key things about engineering and science is that you have to have humility, that the problems we're working on are just one of many problems facing humankind. And you have to be honest enough to put forth the scientific facts about whatever area you're studying or of interest, but realize that we can't fix everything. We have to decide, we have to choose, and those are political decisions, those are policy decisions, and at that point, we just get one vote like everyone else. So we can make our scientific argument, we can be passionate about our cause, but we also have to have humility and realize that there's so many things we don't know as individuals, and there's so many problems facing humankind that you can't get upset if a cost-benefit analysis, for example, shows that your problem just doesn't make the cut.
Despite of so much scope for this field, like the need in the world, some students still ask, what would we do after we graduate? And we do not have scope and talk about classical engineering fields like chemical, civil, and electrical. What is your message for them in order to motivate environmental engineers in the world?
I think that life has probably never been better than it's been right now. That doesn't mean we can't strive to do better or that we're not in danger of losing it all, because we're perfectly capable of doing that. I once coined a phrase for what is it environmental engineers do? It's saving humankind from itself.
Absolutely.
And so I think that there's a lot of big problems out there that still have to be solved. Of course, the biggest problems are always the human dimension. If you really want to meet the enemy, more often than not, it is us. And so you have to start with yourself. You have to aspire to be an ethical, honorable person. It's not so easy in today's world. Cheating is rewarded. Unfortunately, that's why it works. But, you know, there is such a thing as a just society, and to the extent that you are able to not be unethical yourself, or to be a whistleblower and call out or expose unethical actions, you can slightly nudge the moral arc of history towards justice.
In what way do you think that COVID-19 will change the local and global pollution, the environment, and how people tackle the issue internationally? How will it affect the international cooperation and the environmental issues?
I think that none of us can really predict what will happen. One fear is that we'll have a recession or depression. And when that happens, you have less money to do good deeds. And so, in the end, environmental problems might move to the background. On the other hand, there might be a dose here of humility for humankind and to realize how precious our existence is and how tenuous, and maybe it could cause us to reevaluate some of our priorities. I have my hopes, as does everyone, that we'll come out of this as better human beings and aspire to a better humankind, but then again, you never know.
So much for giving me time, and thank you so much for all your attention and all your answers. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Rabia.